Hey fellow golfers, today I wanted to do another pro golf comparison, but this time I wanted to switch to the ladies game. And also why the ladies game, not just for ladies. I believe that as a senior golfer, average club golfers, even good club golfers, male golfers, they can learn a tremendous amount from watching the ladies game and the great swings of lady pro golfers. There are many reasons, including often much better rhythm and posture, and their distances are just as far with a particular iron or driver as male good club golfers. So it is worth thinking about some of those dynamics, and if you look at the LPGA tour averages, spin rates, distances, descent angle, launch angle, etc., you will see that probably if you did some of your own measurements, even as a good golfer, as a good male golfer, they would be fairly similar in terms of the data and indicators as the pro lady golfers on the LPGA tour. Very quickly I'll put up the LPGA averages and the PGA Pro Tour averages, just for you to know that you can download those also at some point yourselves, search them on the internet, and take a look at those as comparisons for yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to, on this clip, focus on Jessica Korda, one of the great top young women golfers at the current time. I will be doing others to follow, but I thought I would start with Jessica Korda. In her setup, you will note that she has quite a strong grip, and that's partly because she has a natural bend in her lead arm and greater supination, as the technical term goes. So in fact she strengthens her grip in order to straighten the lead arm that she's holding with the club. The key there is not the supination and not the bending, but the fact that you need to have that straight arm in your lead arm holding the club. In the takeaway, you will notice that she's kept her body stable and still as she moves her arms away in the takeaway. So only arms move away, the rest of her body remains stable and balanced. Important that this is very similar to some of the top pro golfer comparisons that I've already done, whether it's Bruce Koepka or Dustin Johnson or Hideki Matsuyama recently. Do take a look at those clips. Do subscribe, many more exciting things to come. Give a like if you have the inclination. As she comes with her arm parallel and then has cocked her wrist, you'll see tremendously good sequencing. Her body, arms, and club have all moved back and are in line at the same time. She also has achieved tremendous width. Look at that straight arm that I've showed in other clips. That straight arm back and really gives her the extra width. So not bending her arms like this, with straight arm. That's the source of beginning to store power. At the top, she hasn't swayed. She's turned her shoulders. But notice that her ankle, knee, and hip are in a straight line. So that's really beginning to optimize with that straight arm takeaway, full turn, the width and the power to begin the transition. In the transition, as she moves her weight onto the left foot to begin that transition and turn. She keeps her body and turn nice and at ease. One of the ways she achieved that apparently is practicing putting a tennis ball under her right heel, so that as she turns, she's reducing the weight on the right foot as she moves onto her left foot in order to be able to get that really good sequencing. As she strikes the ball, notice that tilt of the shoulders still back, as we've seen is necessary. Her body is back centered, her weight is on her left side. But one of the keys to Jessica Korda, she drives the ball very straight. And the reason is she keeps that club face square a lot longer than most at the point of impact. So she keeps that square and for a moment longer keeps that straight square face hitting the ball and through a little longer than most people. So she's not doing the quick rotation that you see in some cases, and then that sometimes results in either a slice or a push or a pull and even a hook. And so she really focuses on that aim to the target. Really one of the key things about Jessica Korda, and her straightness of the tee and yet huge distances because of the power she's stored up and the way she hits it. One of the key reasons she's able to do that is that she has quiet hands and quiet wrists as she comes through. So she doesn't flick at it, she doesn't push it too much. I've even found sometimes myself, if I try a little too hard, what is happening is my wrists and arms and hands are getting too active. So she has those nice, quiet hands and wrists as she comes through impact, but stays balanced and centered. So she actually finishes really nicely in that perfect vertical position facing the target. Interesting in her case, she does seem to need to come up onto her toes as she strikes through the ball to get power. That combination of holding that back, quieter wrists and hands, coming through that straight hit, allows her sufficient distance with accuracy that all of us would love to have. And as a result, she's not using her movement of her back leg to give her extra power, like you'd see in the case of Justin Thomas, for example. Yet her sequencing and balance is good, and the sequencing is clearly working because she ends up nice and stable in her finish. So she has managed to store power, come through, keep quiet hands and wrists, hold off the turn as she comes through on balance. Very interesting technique. I believe it's something we could all learn from as average and good male golfers, particularly weekend golfers and club golfers, even if you play several times a week. Try it. I certainly am focusing on some of those aspects to give me that greater accuracy down the fairway. I hope you found these few elements highlighting Jessica Korda's swing illuminating, helpful, and I certainly recommend you watching some of the LPGA tournaments and watching some of the swings of some of the top LPGA pro golfers like Lydia Ko, like Se-Yoon Kim, and many more. So I will be doing a few more of these soon, and probably the next one will be of Brooke Henderson, and great young Canadian LPGA pro golfer who just won a recent tournament as well, beating some of the top names in the field who were leading. After 3 days, she really came from behind and put a superb finishing round together. Happy golfing. See you on the flip side.